Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Reality Is Where Words Do Come to Life. I am so excited about talking about this story because I mentioned to you all before Brandon Johnson became the runner-up for mayor in the conversation with the sabotage of Frederick Collins. And I posted a video yesterday and I said, if you dig one ditch, you better dig two. Because the trap you set for somebody else, you will fall in it yourself. And now he has mud on his face along with Tony Pretwinkle, who truly was a participant in covering up. Now, what has happened here? A lot of regular people will be thrown up under the jail for manipulation and deception of the system. It is amazing to me that we arrest people for loose cigarettes. And we arrest people for stealing a gallon of milk. But when it comes down to these political figures and they do what they do, it seems to be the hardest thing for our judicial system to condemn them for their wrong. Right now, they're trying to get Trump. And that's going to be a long haul. And we already know white is right no matter what they do. But this right here is amazing to me. I got an email from Kim Fox today saying that she was supporting Brandon Johnson. It speaks highly of the support. Well, it don't speak highly, it really speaks poorly of the support. If in his seat as a commissioner, he can deceive and manipulate the system, why would anybody want to make him a mayor? There have been individuals who have really been on foot patrol campaigning for him. But I said in the sabotage of Frederick Collins that him and Tony Pretwinkle used their power and their position to get Frederick Collins thrown off the ballot when clearly Brandon Johnson should have never been on the ballot from the get-go. So I'm going to start with the title of this article. It says, Unpaid City Bills, Campaign Fines Weigh on Johnson ahead of tomorrow's mayoral runoff. He's a court ruling away from being tossed from the ballot. He should be tossed from the ballot. He has violated the rules. He should not even be a part of the runoff on tomorrow, period. And this is what the Chicago Board of Elections get. Y'all bamboozled Frederick Collins, and now y'all got mud on y'all face. So this report is April the 2nd, 2023. Published reports that Brandon Johnson had amassed thousands in unpaid city water bills and parking tickets has intensified concerns that the former public school teacher lacks the fiscal management skills to oversee the budget of the nation's third largest city. Amazing to me. According to the reports, Johnson, a county commissioner, owes the city more than $3,357.04 in water and sewer bills and more than $400 in parking tickets. Any regular residents would have had their water turned off. Anybody more than 3 parking tickets would have had their car booted. So who was the participants to cover up all this stuff? Who were the participants to make sure that his water was not terminated and his car was not booted as a sitting county commissioner? Reporting on unpaid bills, the Chicago Tribune wrote that initially the Johnson campaign release statement noted the bills were on a previously established payment plan and are scheduled to be fully resolved before he takes office as our next mayor. He's not going to take office as the next mayor. Why would anybody want to vote to put him in office? You lied going in the door. As much money as you make, there is no excuse for you not to pay your water bill and no excuse for you not to pay your parking tickets. That's just a bunch of bull crap. The news also brought renewed scrutiny to questionable transfers of funds by the Chicago Teachers Union to finance Johnson's mayoral run and to violation of campaign laws in his run for a county commissioner. So if he broke the laws in running as a county commissioner, what makes him a great candidate to be over the city of Chicago? he's just going to screw it up more. Johnson's missteps have given his opponent, Paul Vallas, heavy gun political ammunition to right before the voters have the final say on the city's next mayor. Brandon Johnson's long-term refusal to pay his city water bill is opening up new questions about other instances of financial mismanagement and ethical lapses. Johnson racked up $4,000 in debt that he finally satisfied yesterday after intense media scrutiny. So if the media had not posted that he owed this money, he would have went into office still owing this money. Despite the fact that he's a highly paid lobbyist who makes almost $200,000 per year. You make almost $200,000 per year and you cannot pay the money that you owe for you. You can't pay your water bill. You can't pay $400 in parking tickets. Really? Where is the fees attached to the $400? Because it should be more than that. Because when my car got booted, I had all kinds of fees, boot fees and everything else to pay for the removal of the boot. So $400, he should have at least about $2,000 worth of fees he should be paying. Now, other two examples of Johnson not meeting his financial obligation, as well as the fact that he has absolutely no management experience, are calling to question his ability to be responsible for Chicago's $28 billion budget. If he can't manage his own personal funds, how in the hell he's going to manage a $28 billion budget? In 2020, the Illinois State Board of Election hits Johnson's county commissioner campaign with $17,637 in fines due to violation of Campaign Disclosure Act. In 2016, Johnson was successfully sued for non-payment of a $3,657.51 debt. Johnson lost on default judgment and had his paycheck as a lobbyist garnished until the debt was paid off. You make $200,000 a year. You can pay the debt for $3,657.51. You can pay a $400 parking ticket. You can pay your water bill. You make $200,000 a year. And what is your wife doing? She works too. So if two incomes are in your household, why do you not pay your bill? Johnson is a court ruling away from being thrown off the ballot. He should have been thrown off the ballot like yesterday. 2012, the Supreme Court narrowed the interpretation of a state law covering the eligibility of those running in municipal election. The law stated a person is not eligible for an elected municipal office if that person is in arrears in payment of a tax or other indebtedness due to the municipality. He's already broke the rule. So there is no question about what he should or they should do about Brandon Johnson being on the ballot. He should have been thrown off today. That's not left up to question. But it does question our judicial system. It does place into question our process and procedures. And it does place into question the character of Tony Preckwinkle. It does that. 4 years before, the court interpreted the law to mean that a candidate in debt to municipality could be removed from the ballot. That occurred in 2010 when a special panel ruled the candidate of Wheaton City Council, Scott McKay, should be removed from the ballot for a failure to pay property taxes. So if they removed him, then Brandon Johnson should already been removed. The 2012 ruling made it hard to strike a candidate's name for unpaid bills. Clarifying legislation was approved by the legislature in 2013, saying candidate could remain on ballot but was required to pay off an outstanding debt before taking office. Double standards here. He should be kicked off because he lied. He defrauded the voters. He lied and pretended like he was an upstanding person who would represent the city of Chicago with transparency and honesty. But instead, somebody had to dig, uncover, pull, and provide the proof that he was not a trustworthy candidate to be mayor. And if you can't trust to tell the truth in your own personal debts, you can't tell the truth as being a sitting mayor. That's not going to happen. On Thursday, several members of the CTU filed complaints with Illinois Educational Labor Relations Board, saying that the union is violating its own bylaws by spending dues money on Johnson's campaign. Why would you take the teacher's dues money and spend it on somebody's campaign without their permission? The union have accounted for more than 95% of Johnson's campaign contributions, according to the Wall Street Journal. The CTU and its political action committee have given Mr. Johnson more than $2 million and even dipped into the pot of individual teachers' dues to give him an extra boost before the April 4th runoff, the Journal reported. If that ain't theft at the highest level, I don't know what is. So for Kim Fox to send out a message that she's supporting Brandon Johnson and thievery, deception, manipulation, and lying has taken place, it does not speak highly of you all's character as sitting in office. And because he's a black man, don't mean that he should be the next mayor. I'm sorry to say, because the words have been said by some of our ministers and some pastors, which you should stay in the church and attend to your flock and stay at the political arena, that we as black people should vote for Brandon Johnson. I'm black and I wouldn't vote for Brandon Johnson with anybody else's set of hands. I wouldn't. He's not a worthy candidate. Paul Vallas ain't no better. But to outright lie, to outright deceive voters that you are an upstanding, honest, family, transparent kind of person. I knew that was a lie when you and Prepwinkle spent your money with Mr. Holland and the hearing officer and the Chicago Board of Elections and asserted her authority as Cook County Board President to make sure that Frederick Collins did not even end up on the ballot as a candidate for the mayor of the city of Chicago. And when you all set out to do dirt to somebody or throw dirt on somebody to pull the rug, move the ladder, and slam the door in their face and violate their constitutional right that they have a right to run for office, and when you do stuff like that, like I said, when you dig one ditch, you need to dig two. Now you done dig you a big tsunami hole, a crater, a ground of quicksand that you are sinking quickly. It has taken every little value that you may have potentially had, and you are not a trustworthy candidate. But we can go a little further. The system in which we call fair, the system in which we call honest, the system in which we call true, the elected officials in which we call looking out for the people, being transparent with the people. Y'all ain't nothing but a bunch of dressed up crooks in suit, ties, and dresses with position names on your doors, because you all are you are asserting your power and your authority to get your agenda across. You're no better than the common criminal. I promise you, you're not. You're no better than the common criminal. For everything that Brandon Johnson has done, he's no better than a common criminal. He do not deserve to be the mayor of the city of Chicago. Not at all. If you can deceive with $7,000 worth of debt and you make $200,000 a year, there is clearly a problem. You can't manage your $200,000, and I'm sure your wife is a contributing paycheck to the household. So with two incomes, full incomes coming in, that debt went unpaid, and you end up on a payment plan? Why? Somebody got to garnish your check to make you pay? See, when somebody garnish your check, they're making you pay the debt. So if they're garnishing your check, why would anybody want you to sit as the mayor of the city of Chicago? This city is already sinking quick, fast, in a hurry. It is on life support. It's on life support. And our Chicago Board of Elections, our elected officials, he should be stripped as a commissioner, and he should be kicked off the ballot as running in the runoff for the mayor. He should not be allowed. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. If it was a regular person who had done this, you all would already have kicked him off the ballot. He would not be allowed. The mayor would already be called. It would be Paul Vallas, bottom line. And again, because he black don't mean nothing. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And him and Prepwinkle is wrong. That's why she been so quiet for every day. She knew everything about Brandon Johnson, and she chose to keep it to herself. She chose to cover it up. And that speaks volume when you are willing to lie to get your agenda across. You're not worth being the Cook County Board President. Not at all. And if you stoop that low for him, how low have you already stooped? And if he was stooped that low to lie, how much lower have he already stooped? He's not worthy to be the mayor. And you all should be ashamed of yourself. Anybody that support Brandon Johnson and think this is okay, you all think this is okay to manipulate the system, to defraud the system, to lie to the people with his big nose self? He's a liar. He's a liar. Toni Preckwinkle is too, because she went right along with it. He's been deceiving the people since he's been a commissioner. He done took teachers' money that they paid, hard-earned money that they worked for, so they could have some benefits and perks and some privileges when they retire. And then y'all take that money and give it to him for his campaign. The liar, he traded. He's a traitor. He left y'all hanging. He got your money. He gone. And you will never, ever see that money again. Because he don't like to pay his debts. That is obvious. And the next time y'all get on here and talk about somebody else, a regular person, but they don't pay their debts, y'all need to slap y'all own self to sleep. See, God don't like ugly. He ain't too keen on pretty. But the ugliness in you all, using your power and your position for a selfish gain, yeah, he pulled the cover. He pulled the shade. He opened the door. He opened the windows and pulled the curtains. Yes, he did. And when God pulled the curtains, it's been pulled. It's been a wrap. The end. Movie done. Brandon Johnson will not. And for everybody that pushed for Brandon Johnson, that's what you get. That's what you get. Because I said from the beginning, when they sabotaged Frederick Collins, him and Preckwinkle was up to no good. Now you see what I mean. He don't need to hold another office in life. And anybody supported, y'all need to question their credibility too. They support some mess like that. You all should be ashamed of yourself. Very much so. Until we talk again. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Reality is where words do come to life.